Fellow Nigerian.
So one of the things that I want to assure is that
demolitions will not stop until we are ready to be realistic.
Lagos State, what is going on? And Lagos State will go and be breaking walls, breaking houses, rendering people homeless overnight. Where are the real estate people who sold these properties to people?
Lagos State government, real estate sector in Lagos is now a den for thieves and greedy folks.
Without a doubt, owning a real estate in Lagos has come with more risk than staring a viper in the eye. In fact, when you witness cases of one buying property in Lagos State without any issue in the near future, then it's definitely cause for tips on how they were able to pull off that stuff. Because if one doesn't fall into the hands of unscrupulous developers, then on the other side is the fake real estate practitioners and the high-end demolition, which has become the topic of the day in Lagos State. Speaking about demolition, in the year 2023, there was a flood of repeated cases of demolition of properties by the Lagos State government. Even though the owners of this building that were demolished claimed to have a license issued to them by the same Lagos State government. With this, people were left homeless, owners left broken, and who wouldn't be? That brings us to the purpose of this video. What's the real deal between Lagos State government and real estate owners? While also asking, is this a direct attack to the Igbos who own lands in Lagos?
These persons have built over, they've been in possession of that land for years. And then you target the people of a certain ethnic group and then you want to demolish their land. And if you must demolish the property, pay adequate compensation or give proper notice.
On this video, we will find out. Before we ride on, for more detailed updates, please do like and subscribe. Have you ever stopped to think about this? That the easiest way to launder money in Nigeria is through real estate and non-governmental organization, which is the NGO. But in case you don't know, the real estate seems to be the most hidden one, but the most used to play the pity party to the poor masses. Before we go on that, take a look at this standard well-maintained houses across different working countries. You will agree with me that you won't find another place in Nigeria that looks better maintained than this, or let's even say more beautiful than this. Yet, the price you pay for real estate here will always be much higher than what you pay in these developed countries. And if you ask why, Nigerian real estate people will say it's mainly due to where the property is located, or they tell you it's all luxury. Like seriously, location and luxury. So you're telling me that location makes a 3 square meter land to be sold for over 50 million naira, or a random overly furnished house to be sold for 2 billion? Come on now, are these houses located in heaven, if I may ask? You may wonder what the government does about this. But I hate to break it to you that the government might be playing a big part in the chaotic real estate situation in Lagos. The worst thing is that the state is often extremely careless. In some cases, it actively supports a system that benefits a few by making life hard for many. The Lagos state government might be actively involved because you can't tell me that they do not make money from the way things are currently set up in Lagos. Just in case you don't know, whenever a property changes hands, gets built or demolished, the government receives money due to permits, development charges, land use fees, taxes, and multiple administrative costs. If you think they care about you or that they will risk their chances of not making the pain of others their business model, then you are wrong. And if you doubt me, go and invest your money in Lagos real estate. Many top officials and politicians are said to own shares in real estate companies. Sometimes they don't sign the paperwork themselves, but use other people or companies to hide their part in the transaction. Whenever these companies buy land, sell it off and make billions, it's usually the same group in governments who gains the most. A number of government agencies are responsible for land issues. And why do you think that is so? We have the Ministry of Lands, the Surveyor General Office, the New Towns Development Authority, local government offices, and others. Now, how do you know who is legal and who is not? Who is the right office to go to and who isn't? Because each of these branches have their set of rules, employees, and connections. Now with this, why wouldn't we have cases of one piece of property being assigned more than one certificate of occupancy, that is the CFO? That's why we see cases of two people who both think they purchased the same plot, showing state official documents for proof. Certain people working in these agencies make fake documents that are nearly impossible to tell their difference. It's only when the bulldozer shows up that the people realize they have been scammed and their lives are ruined. For those of us who rant by saying that people who buy those lands do not have sense, have you ever stopped to think how painful it must be for them? Or what if they are decoyed to act like they own these houses? Meanwhile, they were just planted to act, while the laundry deal has been completed. With clarity, it's difficult to imagine working for years to build a home, only to watch your effort destroyed by the same governments that allowed you to build in the first place. Now let's ask ourselves again, what if the demolition was just a decoy for money that has been laundered? So they just demolished to return to default plan. Then the government officials will come out and say, the buildings are obstructing the drainages, or they were built on drainages. Now my question is, who gave out the permission to build in the first place? Nevertheless, it's getting clearer that under the legitimacy was a network of lies and, like we mentioned earlier, political fraud. Many times, the necessary approval was brought secretly, or it was given by staff who use fake signatures and seals, because who dares punish them even when their fraud is discovered? It's always the homeowners who bear the biggest burden till today without any compensation whatsoever. And so someone purchases land from someone who holds all the required papers, then pay all fees for every needed document, including surveys, approvals, and levies. And also, they take care in building according to the government's requirements. Then after a few years of what seems like enjoying their new home or developing it for tenants, demolition notices arrive if they are even lucky in the first place. And if they aren't lucky, their house gets torn down without any notice, while some of them who are abroad get the sad news first online before a relative even informs them of it. Digging further, it's apparent that 70% of these demolitions are owned by Igbos. Even though it's very unwise for anyone to buy or invest in real estate after all the happenings that took place in the 2023 general election, demolition shouldn't be hitting clearly on tribalism and the quest for Igbos to leave Lagos State. In case you don't know, several houses have been demolished repeatedly till today in many of these demolished states, including those in Lekki or the island. A high percentage of these investors were Igbo Nigerians, especially the diaspora returnees. Not to generalize or sound sentimental, but if the Yoruba elites were the ones who bought these lands, would the demolitions have been so fast? Would bulldozers be able to move inland and demolish the homes of important politicians without case or held by endless lawsuits? So why then do most of these victims appear to be middle-class Igbos, people without any political support or someone to represent them? These things are not random, and we must ask ourselves how all this will end if this pattern keeps repeating itself. It seems to be a method of preventing Igbos from owning properties, settling down, or creating lasting wealth in Lagos State. It seems to be saying a quiet way that you might live here, but you will never really fit in. And I'm not saying that this is some sort of simple story of Igbo versus Yoruba. No, I'm just painting the picture the way it is. Yes, know that there were Yoruba victims as well. You know, families who were cheated out of their land or left homeless by unfair demolitions. So the question remains, what is really the deal? What does the government want to achieve before they make the state of Lagos fair for everyone to live in? Help grant the common buyer equity that doesn't eventually lead to the demolition of his property by some greedy folks in office. How long will people continue to live through their teeth because they cannot even afford to pay a rent in a state where landlords and agents are drinking 12 gallons of wickedness and greed every morning, lacking empathy for tenants and their fellow Nigerians, all in the name of business? How long will the government continue to turn blind eye or set up forces that pretend to tackle it, whereas they are only making it worse? Finally, how long will the government continue to appear like they are using the real estate companies to launder their money in different currencies? Like, how long, I ask again. I haven't watched this video to this point. What's your take on this? Do you think the demolition in Lagos State was a plotted one? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till our next upload, bye for now.